Okay, so welcome back. Again, we start on page 80 today. Let's take our quick look at the schedule. So today we cover section 1.8. It says bring a calculator. That means today is one of the rare times where we'll be using the calculator this semester. So we talk about order of operations and the calculator. Next class is a review. It is just going to be practice exam 1, which is in the blue packet, just a few pages from where you are now. It's just there's nothing new that we're going to cover. You're just going to work in your groups with your neighbors individually on the practice exam or whatever else you want to do to prepare for the exam. The exam is coming up on Monday. It's a full period exam. The exam will have a brief calculator part and then a longer non-calculator part. First you'll do the calculator part, then you'll put the calculator away and trade with me for the non-calculator part. Any questions on the schedule? Okay, so that's what's coming up. It's written to be 30 minutes. You're going to have the full period, which is 50, so everybody will get a little more than time and a half to take this thing. Right? Some people are going to finish in less than half an hour, which is okay. Other questions? Okay, so beginning on page 80, it says we're going to use calculators today. And let's go to the objective. Chris? Okay, thank you. So in your groups, you're going to work through these problems without a calculator. So parts A through D, and then we'll come back together in just a minute. But check in with your neighbors on check all of your answers with your neighbors and see if you can discuss. Back together. What do we think for the first one? 10 minus 3 plus 5? 12? Everybody get 12? So what do you need to think about in terms of answering this problem, or is it just straightforward? Did anybody do 3 plus 5 first? Isn't that a choice? Like we chose to do 10 minus 3. If you're saying the answer is 12, that means you did 10 minus 3 is 7, plus 5 is 12. But if you chose to do 3 plus 5 first, then this would be an 8. And 10 minus 8 is 2, which is a different answer. I have to move from left to right. Any other rules about order of operations? Raise your hand if you've heard of Pemdas. Pemdas, have we heard of it? Yeah, looks like about half of us. What do the letters stand for? Parentheses. Right, okay, so Pemdas tells us the order in which we're supposed to do these operations. So we actually did not follow the order according to Pemdas because we had addition and subtraction first. And according to what's written over there, what do you have to do first? That says addition first, right? It says do addition and then do subtraction. That's right. And so Lauren had said left to right. And in particular, when you have two operations that are tied with each other in terms of importance, you have to do them left to right. And addition and subtraction are tied with each other. And so are multiplication and division, which is why my colleague Sandy has come up with this very nice way to write it. Instead of writing PEMDAS that way, where it implies that multiplication is more important than division and addition is more important than subtraction, she writes M and D this way, A and S this way. Multiplication and division are equal. You don't just do multiplication first every time. You do multiplication or division equally, but from left to right. Okay, so then we said 10 minus 3 is 7. So this guy right here is 7, and then plus the 5 is 12. That's the answer. Okay, the next one has two operations, has division and it has multiplication. Which one's more important? Neither one. It's kind of a trick question. Multiplication and division are equal, so we do them as we see them left to right. 24 divided by 6 is 4, and then times the 2 is 8. So that's 8. These next two are the ones that can give people fits. 10 plus 2 times 3. Yeah, this is very strange, but we are about to do something not left to right. It goes against everything you've learned in terms of reading the English language, right? When you read the English language, you go left to right. No exceptions. When you read mathematics, There are exceptions. You have to follow the order of operations. I have addition and multiplication. Which one is more important? Multiplication. I have to go out of my way to find that multiplication and do it first before I do the addition. And it doesn't matter that this is screaming to me 10 plus 2. I don't get to read 10 plus 2. I have to see that multiplication symbol and say, oh, that gets my attention first. So this is really saying 10 plus 6.
So it's kind of like saying that when there's multiplication and division, it's like there are invisible parentheses around it.
Yeah, you can absolutely put extra parentheses here, right there. That multiplication is more important than the addition, so you're welcome to put them in. Okay, same idea here. In part D, I have a subtraction and I have a division. Which one's more important? Division. You have to go out of your way to do that division first. So let's do the division first. This is 14 minus 12 divided by 2, 6. 14 minus 6, 8. Even though it looks very tempting to do 14 minus 12 first. If you do that, you'll get a different answer. You will get the wrong answer. Okay, any questions about this Pemdas business? Okay, moving on to number 2. Z, can you read this part A? Okay, so take the calculators out. I want you to type that thing into the calculator in one step and see if you guys all get the same answer. So the calculator says 9, but 9 is not the right answer. What's the right answer? Right answer is 5, because we can see we have to do the 8 plus 2 first. That's 10 divided by 2. The answer is 5. Calculator doesn't know the right answer. Well, the calculator knows PEMDAS, most of them anyway. The calculator knows PEMDAS. In fact, that's why I got the wrong answer. Yeah, here's what I'm guessing most of you, if not all of you, typed in. It's 8 plus 2 divided by 2. Yes? That's what you typed in. Calculator knows PEMDAS, which is why it gave us the wrong answer. What does the calculator do first? It does 2 divided by 2 because it knows PEMDAS. And 2 divided by 2 is 1, plus the 8 is 9. So we need to do something extra to tell the calculator, hey, that 8 plus 2 needs to be done first. It's in the numerator. So what do we need to type in? Parentheses. We have to go out of our way to type parentheses in. So I'm going to call these implied parentheses. Did it work that time? Yeah. We got 5. So there are implied parentheses right up there because of that fraction line. The way that we write it, we can see physically that that 8 plus 2 is one thing upstairs, but the calculator can't see it. Calculator doesn't have just like a fraction line button and then you can put stuff upstairs and different stuff downstairs. So we need to go out of our way to type in the parentheses to key in the calculator to the fact that that 8 plus 2 is one thing upstairs. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's come down here to this implied parentheses business. In part A, we are around to Drew. Okay, so you got 4 different expressions. If you were typing these things into the calculator, I want to know how many parentheses, how many pairs of parentheses you would have to put in. I don't need you to type them into the calculator. I just want to know how many pairs of parentheses you would have to put in altogether. So check with your neighbors and see if we can come up with a total. Okay, so let's just come together. I think there are a total of 7 sets of parentheses, so let's make sure we can find them all. Where do we need them in this first one? Is the bottom. How about with that next one? Is inside. That square root symbol is kind of like parentheses. It's a grouping symbol. Parentheses just tell you to group things together. And just like this division bar in this first problem is a grouping symbol, it separates 2 groups. That radical sign is a grouping symbol. And if you just type in the square root button and then on your calculator, if you type the square root and then you type 23 and then you type +2, it's going to think, oh, they want you to do the square root of 23, stop, and then add 2 to the result. But that's not what we mean. So to make sure we get what we mean, we need extra parentheses inside of any square root. Here, 2 sets of parentheses separate the numerator and denominator. How come the first part, the first fraction, only needed 1 set of parentheses right here? Yeah, the 6 is just sitting there by itself. It's fine to put parentheses, but there's no need. There's nothing to do, as Sarah says, right? 6 is just 6. Whereas here, we actually have to do something up there. We have to add 2 numbers. Here we have to subtract 2 things. Okay, and then the last one, we need parentheses there. Okay, so then we got the radical. And then very easy to miss, the whole denominator needs to be in parentheses. The calculator is just going to give you parentheses every time. Parentheses and brackets are equal, so you can use either one anytime. Okay, that's good. And then on the next page, let's see if we can simplify this. This is not a calculator problem, but we've got 2 plus 3 parentheses 10 plus 2 times 15. So we're just going to do this together right now real quick. The goal is to just figure out what this number really is. So I'm going to write this one. I'm just going to copy it again here. Okay, so the first thing we do is 2 plus 3. 2 times 15. We see multiplication over there. And in fact, what do we see that's even more important than multiplication? Is parentheses. So we got to calculate what's in the parentheses separately. And then that's like this whole other Pemdas problem just in the parentheses. Okay, so I'll shut up for a minute. So see if you can do this one and then we'll come back together. No calculators on this one. Okay, so let's look at this one. So again, can I do 2 plus 3? No. We'd be wrong. Okay, so let's not do that. So we're going to copy that thing as it is. Okay, so then in here, I'll do 10 plus 2. No, what do we have to do first? 2 times 15. So that 10 just stays, the plus stays. 2 times 15 is really the only thing to do first. That's 30. Okay, so now I'll do 2 plus 3. No. Okay, 2 plus 3. In here, it's 40. All right, that's fine. Okay, so now finally you're going to let me do 2 plus 3. No. So multiplication comes first, so that's 120. And then ultimate answer, 122. Is that right? Did we ever get to do that 2 plus 3? No. So it's really counterintuitive until you've got some practice with it. This is not how we read the English language. But math works differently sometimes. Okay, this process right here is for people that want to show every single step. I do not need you to show me every single step. So I'm going to give you the bare bones minimum if you prefer. Instead of doing every single step, you can just do this. So I'm going to copy the original. So bare bones minimum from this thing. Again, what's the first thing we do? Is multiply 2 times 15, which is 30. So cross it off, put a 30 nearby. And then what's the next thing we do? Is we add the 10 plus the 30, put a 40 somewhere nearby. And after that, 3 times 40 is 120. And then finally 2 and 120 is 122. You can write everything on the left, or you can write everything on the right. It makes no difference to me. If you're very detail-oriented and you want to see all the specifics of what's happening, write the left. But if you get comfortable and you decide you just want to start crossing things off, as long as it's clear to me that you did all of these steps, then you can write it however you want. It doesn't even have to be exactly like this. But I need to be able to see what happened, even if you do it kind of the shorthand way, all right? Okay, so that whole Pemdas thing that we talked about before is written here. We're not going to discuss it again, but you can read later on. This nice way that Sandy came up with to rewrite Pemdas. Classwork starts on the next page. Raise a flag if you get stuck.